Staggering statistics from the World Bank shows that 4 billion people use charcoal and firewood each and every day to prepare their meals. This is bad news for our planet. It's bad news to our environment. It's bad news to our community. And this is bad news to our health. Shockingly, the numbers goes on showing that 4 million people die each and every year out of smoke-related complications. 4 million is equivalent to a larger population of an entire Seattle metropolitan area. 4 million lives which will not be lost. For most families that live below $5 a day cannot access clean energy, and yet the effect on the environment is very profound. Just imagine, in Kenya alone, we lose 125,000 hectares of forest to charcoal production. So for most of these families who can't access clean energy, who can't access the clean energy, they are forced to use charcoal and firewood, but they can't do anything about it. And one of these families was my family. So, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to take you on a journey to 200 miles away from where we are today, to the vast land of Kisii. That's my home. Most people call it the land of bananas, and they're not wrong. So, growing up as a firstborn on a family of 7, I learned to take up responsibilities early in life. I learned how to fetch water from the nearby river. I learned how to help my dad herd his cows. I learned how to help my mother till his garden. And I also learned how to collect firewood and cook for my siblings, just like another African child. Surprisingly, I never understood why most villagers called my dad the farmer, and yet it is my mother who did the actual farming. But what did Swat expect her to do? To cook, right? Yeah, to take care of the kids like me, right? That's right, and maybe other housewife stuffs. And so growing up in that space, our role was simple, to help my mother. So, and the role which my mother gave me each and every day was to help her light her cook stove, something which I never looked forward to. But why? Didn't I love food? Actually, I ate a lot, though my body doesn't show it. So for me to light that cook stove, it was very tedious. And first of all, I had to change my school uniform, rush to the nearby forest, collect dry timber, plus some dry leaves, and then rush home, get my mother's stoves, place them inside. Using a matchbox, I could light it up. And then using an old plate, metallic plate, I could fan my mother's stoves for like 15 minutes in that smoky coughing, you know. And trust me, for like more than 15 minutes. And my mother could be watching. Whenever I take a break, she was like, "Hey, Justin, I need to cook supper. I'm waiting for you." And for like 15 minutes, I remember fanning my mother's stoves so that the fire could light up. And for many days in a row, it was a very bored way to spend my early teenage life. Maybe just like many of you who grew up in the village like me. And 10 years down the line, I was lucky to secure a government scholarship. And that was my first trip to the capital, Nairobi, to Kenyatta University to pursue my dream course. And maybe by just the show of hands, how many of us in the room remember their first trip to Nairobi, capital? Yeah, I can see a couple of hands. To me, 6 years down the line is very memorable till today. Let me make you understand why. My village, I remember my uncle David could come for the few Christmas holidays to come and visit us in our country. And all of my extended family could be prepared 3 days in advance. Yeah, 3 days in advance. And when the day could come, we'll go to the bus stop and wait for him like for 8 hours. I remember there were no phones. Yeah, for sure, there were no phones. And that was the first very day at least I could wear shoes. Now I need to be presentable to our uncle. And we could give him an heroic welcome, you know. And I remember he had a newspaper and some few bundles of flour, you know, for mandazi, you know. So in my mind, growing in that space, I learned, growing up, knowing that if you live in the capital, or if you are from the capital, you are a hero, you are successful. Maybe like most of you. And that's why my journey to the capital is still memorable today. Because trust me, the day the previous night before I came to the capital, I never slept. I never slept. I wanted to be a hero. I wanted to be successful. And that's how I grew up. So October 23rd, 2012, something drastic happened in my life. My mother was diagnosed by a lung infection, and she was asked to stay out of smoke for like 6 months. So how then could my mother cook food for herself, even for my siblings? My mother's case is not peculiar. She just represents more than 15 million households and women who use charcoal and firewood each and every day to prepare food. And so, during my campus life, I had to give up my dream of being a campus and be a superstar. And I joined the Innovators Club, whereby I wanted to find a solution for this problem, to help my mother. And 2 years down the line, the solution could be Ecobora. So what's Ecobora? Ecobora is a social venture whose vision is to provide clean energy and affordable for all. And how do we attain this vision? We begin by converting organic waste into alternative fuel for cooking. But how do we do it exactly? It's very simple still. We just buy organic waste from farmers, and then we convert it into pellets using a simple pelletizing technology. And I'm very happy to tell you that our pellets, they work like magic. What I mean is that using our pellets, families don't need to incur extra cost of buying paraffin to fund their stoves. Families like my mother can use less pellets to cook for more compared to firewood and charcoal. And lastly, if you use our pellets, they do not produce smoke. And I'm happy at least I solved my mother's problem from the onset. And that's what maybe made me realize like everything is possible. And as an organization, we don't stop at production, but we also distribute our products. And for us to do that, we empower youth and women to be on the forefront of our distribution channel, because we know that those who are closest to the problem are also closest to the solution. But still, as an organization, deep down in our core values, we know that creating true social impact is by changing someone's life, as my speaker said, as my previous speaker said. It's all about changing someone's life. It's all about changing someone's family. But to us also, it's all about changing someone's kitchen. That's creating real impact. And as a company, that someone to us is Mama Fatuma. So allow me to introduce you to Mama Fatuma. Mama Fatuma, she's a widow of 6. And I met her 2 years ago selling charcoal. And I learned that she could cut trees in the nearby forest and then convert it into charcoal and then go down and trade the charcoal. That's her life. And sadly, she could make maximum of $50 per month. Imagine a family of 6. You're the mom, you're the dad. $50 is not enough to pay your rent, to get food, to even take your children to school, let alone get health care. And so for the past 10 months, Mama Fatuma has been working in Ecobora. She has improved her earnings from $50, and now she's getting to like $200 per month. And her journey has just begun. So we want to scale up Ecobora like another business. We want to scale up. That's our main aim. And we want to make history, right? We want to make history. And not about my mother, not about Mama Fatuma. We want to increase our production process. We want to strengthen our distribution channel. We want to ensure that families can be able to acquire efficient cookstoves so that they can be able to get the value of using our fuels. We want to uplift families out of poverty. That's what we are. That's really what we are about. And maybe I can challenge you. What does it take to solve our community's problem? In a perfect world of clean energy, it's very simple. Provide gas, right? Provide electricity, right? But one thing, we don't live in a perfect world. Second, these families cannot be able to afford gas or electricity. And thirdly, it's ingrained in their culture that charcoal and firewood are the best fuel. So for us, as Ecobora, our work is very simple. We are meeting our customers at their points of need. And we are using green energy as a forum or as a platform to uplift these families out of poverty. And we have been so lucky to work with amazing people, with amazing stakeholders, and receiving tremendous support. And an example, which maybe I'll have to speak, is about YALI, Young African Leadership Initiative, whereby I'm an alumni. So such partners or stakeholders are the key people who have really drove the energy, of Ecobora. And I know most of us will be wondering, how do they drive that energy? And I think for us as an organization, we found like our vision and mission synergies with what YALI wants to do. And it's easier for them to support us in terms of, publicity, in terms of helping us make some things work for us easily. And we are really very grateful for that. And to all entrepreneurs in the building, I think it's very key to get a stakeholder, a partner. And for us, we didn't even stop there, because we know that sustainability cannot be achieved in isolation. So we have made partnerships with even competitors, because we believe that the market is so wide, because there's something they're doing better than us, and there's something we can do better than them. So at least to ensure we do what we call last mile distribution of our products. And that has been a great success, which has been complemented by the many awards and recognitions which we have received. But back to us as an organization, our key success is very simple. It's changing someone's life. That's our success. That's how we value success. Changing someone's mother, helping a family save 50% of their cooking costs, and maybe help their children access better healthcare, better education. That's our success. That's what we value most. And I have the following few tips to entrepreneurs in the building. You must find your passion. It's not all about having passion. Find it, because the moment you find it, you will not lose your passion. Like for me, I found my passion early in life. I knew I loved my family, my mother. I want to tell my mother, no matter how much I spend on my company, I never got a pinch of it, because I already found my passion. And I think it's with passion, it will give you the energy to keep on doing what you're doing. Passion will give you the energy to constantly worry about your company, because if you don't have the passion, you'll not constantly worry about your product, and I think you'll lose it all along on the way. And secondly, make mistakes. I know it's ironical, but it's good to make mistakes. Yeah, it's good to make mistakes. As a startup, it's good to make mistakes. My father wasn't a business person, or my mother, or my uncle. I knew nothing, but at least I had to do something. I've done a lot of mistakes in business, from making bad deals, making bad partnerships, but that's what it means by making mistakes. I'm a youth. I'm under 35. I can make mistakes. I have more time. I can learn. So make mistakes. You can correct the mistakes in time. So don't fear making mistakes. And lastly, it's all about our customers. Like for me, why not for my mother? I will not be standing here telling you about her story. You too, as an entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur, let's try to be customer-centric. Let's try to understand our customers. I grew with my mother. I knew what she went through. I knew her challenges. I helped her light the stove. So I knew clearly what it means by using firewood to cook. So that made me be customer-centric. So if only you can be customer-centric, understand your customer, her pains, her lifestyle, her dreams, what she wants to achieve in life, what she wants for her family, what's dear to her. I think that's the best, that's the very, very moment you form a relationship with your customer. And I think with that, our customers, being customer-centric, it enables you as an organization to get some energy to each and every day wake up to your company, to your farms, to work constantly towards innovating your product to solve your customers' need. Why? Because they keep on evolving, they keep on changing. So each and every day, you must wake up to understand your customers. And I think that really will give you an upper hand, not only in competition, but even in your organization. And the stakeholders in the room. I know most people are asking for funds, for partnerships. For me, I just have one request for you guys. If all the players, from the private, the government, if all of us, even entrepreneurs, will be able to come as a one wagon and create an enabling environment. What I mean is that, let me use my example, Ecobora. My mother, for her to buy pellets, she needs 20 shillings per kg. to buy pellets, or like another women in my community. Be my mother, for instance. You have three choices at hand. You have your son, Justine, who's supposed to get education. You have pellets, 20 bob, and you have free firewood. And you have like 100 bob. What will you do? Like my mother, like Kelly's mother, it's basic. It's just logic. You better go first things first. She better buys food than buying clean fuel, right? So if only we as stakeholders can be able to create a platform, whereby our customers, our entrepreneurs, even our stakeholders can thrive. Like for instance, Ecobora, I was forced to go back some few steps. When I began with my idea, I was very excited. I have a machine, I have pellets, the first in the country, the second in Africa, very, very warm. But I realized there was a low uptake of my product. And spending time with my customers, I realized that my customers love my product. It's working well. They want it, they can't afford it. And I'm not a charity organization. I need to be sustainable. And I was forced to go back some few steps. And we went back to empower these communities economically. And one of our projects, which has really done well, is the Green Kiosks. What's Green Kiosks? Green Kiosks is just a shell, like a timber and iron roof shop, whereby we install some solar. Because remember, these mothers don't have electricity. And these kiosks, they're only supposed to stock Ecobora pellets, but they also can stock other fast-moving goods, like sugar, like bread and milk. So if these mothers can be able to have these shops, and they trade, if they can trade, they can get excess income. If they have this income, they can be able to afford our fuel. So that's what we went back some few steps to create that enabling space. So to the stakeholders and everybody in the room, if we can create that space, we will enable entrepreneurs thrive, be it in finance, be it in team training, like she said, in business training, be it in mentorship, in our small spaces, we will thrive easily. And I think that will be able to increase our birthdays or startups anniversaries. Because I think what is really missing is a space to thrive. And the beauty about that space, it creates competition. And with competition, we innovate, and that's the beauty about the spaces. And so, scaling up Ecobora has been so exciting. And it has been a romantic journey, but we are grateful for that. And people like my mother and Mama Fatuma are stories that are inspiring us to our community. They inspire us as a community. They inspire us as a country, and even as a continent. These are stories which tell us that social entrepreneurs can create impact. There are stories which tell us that as an entrepreneur, you can create change in your community. These are good stories which inspire us to do change for our loved ones. And these are stories which tell us that as an entrepreneur, as a social impact entrepreneur, you can use the local resources, local solutions, and local products to create change in your community. And that's what keeps us going. And allow me to leave with you this famous quote of Maya Angelou. And she said, "A solitary fantasy can change a million realities." Like for me, my idea of helping my mother cook in our kitchen is now changing a million realities. We are meeting up to, now we are serving 6,000 customers. And our plan is to reach to 500,000 customers in the next 5 years. So with that single solitary fantasy had in my head, in my college, it's a reality. And to you guys in the room, your ideas can change a million realities, and that reality is yours. So thank you very much. Have a good day.